Okay. I forgot where I left off. The video cut off for some reason. Okay. So it started at $1,000, right? If I buy a computer at $1,000, I'm trying to, and it loses a fifth of its value every year. So then that means the remaining value is 4/5. So I multiply by 4/5 every year to get like how much the computer is worth as the years go by. But let's go backwards. If I bought it at $1,000 and every year it drops in value, how do we go backwards? What was the value the year before and then the year before that? If we multiply by 4/5, in order to go backwards, you have to multiply by 5/4. 5/4. So then, oops, our computer the year before, -1 years, was worth, let's see, 5,000 divided by 4, 1,250. Right? And then the year before that, again, multiply that by another 5/4. That's 1,562.5. Okay? So then part B, write an equation representing the value V of the computer T years after it is purchased. V is equal to, remember, it starts with the initial value, 1,000, times the growth or decay factor, which was 4/5, and then to the power of T, because T is the number of years. Use your equation to find V when T is 5. What does the value V mean? So if we use the equation, V equals 1,000 times 4/5 to the power of 5, actually, oops, it's going to be equal to, let's see, 12 times 1 times 4 divided by 5. It should be 327.68. What does this mean? It means that's the value of the computer 5 years after purchase. Okay, here you go. A country pledges to reduce its annual CO2 emissions by 2% per year if the emissions in 2022 are 3,230 metric megatons. What are the maximum allowable emissions in 2030? Okay, reduce, it is lowering its annual CO2 emissions by 2%. It started right now, let's assume we're in 2022, it's at 3,230. What is the maximum allowable emissions in 2030? So that's 8 years after. So let's write out our equation. It started at 3,230. And then we have to multiply by either a growth factor or decay factor. It's reducing 2%. Remember, how do you write 2% as a decimal? That's 0.02. Right? So if we are at 100%, and we want to reduce by 2%, 100% minus 2%, that's 98%. So every year we want to be at 98% of the previous year. So how do we write 98% as a decimal? That's 0.98. So our decay factor is 0.98. How many years after? 8 years. So if we plug this in the calculator, we want our carbon emission, our allowable emission, to be 3,230 times 0.98 to the power of 8. And that is 2,747.96. Okay, let's do it one more time. A new social media site is increasing its user base by approximately 3%. If the site currently has 21,780 users, what will be the approximate user base 8 months from now? Okay, so increasing. Again, it started at 21,780. So that's my initial value. Is this a growth factor or decay factor? It says increasing, so I'm assuming it's growing by 3%. 3% is 0.03, right? So if 21,780, that's 100% of our users, we want to grow by 3%. So that should be 100% plus 3%. So if we're growing, that means we need to grow 103%. How do I write that as a decimal? 100% is 1. So 1.03. So my growth factor is 1.03. And then to the power of 8, right? Because we're trying to grow 8 times. So then what would how many Instagram or whatever TikTok users would we have, or subscribers? That would be times 1.03 to the power of 8. So by 8 months, you would have 27,000. Okay. All right. Here's the entire study guide that I went over. Please use this video to help you study for the test. Good luck. Bye-bye.